Hello and welcome back to the channel. I figured today I'd just do some recording of some zombies playthrough. I need to reach level 200 before the season ends anyway. 119. I got a few challenges left to do, so figured I'd try and burn those out of the way. Although I should probably be playing solo if I want to do that, because otherwise it's going to take a lot longer. That's a good place to start. But yes, as I said, I did say I would be trying to upload on a slightly more regular basis than I have been, and I plan to keep to that. I don't know how long I will keep to that, but I plan to try my hardest to keep to it for as long as I can. That's better. I plan to do some more recording later today of, I think, probably some Black Ops 3 zombies. Maybe something else. I haven't quite decided yet. I did find out about a new game that came out. No, it entered alpha a few days ago. Which is Starbase, which is an MMO. In the same vein of something as Space Engineers. Have you ever played that? So I think the best way to describe that be, so think Minecraft, where you build things with blocks, but instead of building static objects, you build spaceships. And you know, are in space. So it looks interesting. Need to give it a go. See what I think of it at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for the moment. As I think I mentioned in the update video, I plan to do some more recording of some new games when they come out end of the year, like Forza Horizon 5, which I'm really looking forward to. Halo Infinite as well. Probably some Battlefield 2042, despite not being a Battlefield player. It's really captured my interest this year, especially the like the custom game creator thing. That does look really interesting. The ability to just change parameters and make your own, and change the game. Snipers versus shotguns, like World War II versus modern era, all that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about maybe setting up like a Minecraft survival let's play or something, but I haven't played Minecraft vanilla in, I think, years, like in survival anyway. Usually end up playing modded, so maybe I'll start a modded one, but the problem is most mods still haven't quite updated past 1.12. Like, they're still a bit of a watershed where a lot of them just kind of didn't follow on. To be fair, it just might be the continuation of things. It might be a lot of the mods never do get past 1.12. Probably some of them probably take a bit of a rewrite. Others are probably just might just be the developers don't want to anymore, and they haven't got like people to continue it. I don't know. Yeah, see how it goes, I suppose. The world changes. It's just kind of how life is. Yeah. I am hoping to get some friends to show up at some point as well, so it's not just my voice rambling for hours on end that you have to listen to. Maybe I could, like, I've been tempted to let's play some games, but the ones I'd want to, I think I've played too recently, so it wouldn't be as entertaining because I remember them a bit too well. There are some I've just never played. I've never played, like, it's one of those weird things, because I've been playing the Assassin's Creed franchise since Black Flag, so 2013. And I've played most of them, and even Odyssey, but I haven't played Valhalla yet, or I don't want to get Valhalla on Uplay, which is why I haven't bought it yet. I own a physical disc of it. The problem is that I'm not trying to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla in my day one Xbox One. that hard drive would A, not be fast enough, and B, that hard drive barely has enough space in it as it is, and I've got like 2 things installed on it. The day one ones weren't big hard drives, but what are you gonna do? We'll see how it goes, I suppose. That feels early, that's weird. But yeah, so I might play Valhalla at some point if I can get my hands on Xbox Series X, which is still vanishingly hard to get hold of for one reason or another. And yeah, nearly there. So it's definitely going to be interesting, especially with how games got so messed about last year with all the COVID like situation. Such a mess, that one. At least the frictions are coming off of it now, so we don't have to worry as much. Still issues around though. It's one of those things. They just people have been saying like the face masks. They're probably just going to stick around forever now. They're not going to be something that will just vanish. Or it'll probably be when people start getting sick, people will just start wearing them now. Which, to be fair, is what Asia has been doing for years. I think Japan specifically. They started wearing them, so you know if they're sick, they don't get other people sick. And beyond that, I think China, I think as well, but I think that's partly due to the smog problems as well. So slight difference, but you know, the world keeps on moving. I just find it funny that it's like somebody decided to play a game of Plague Inc. at the beginning of 2020 and just nobody noticed for a couple months, which means they're doing something right, I suppose.
Looks like our intel was right on the money. Omega Group
Yeah.
equipment strewn
Is they
everywhere.
thrown under that other perk machine? No idea. Oh, yeah, another news. Don't know if any of you have been keeping up with the news to the Cold War, but the new perks, like we've got more information on the new perks they're releasing. Like we've known for a little while it would be death perception, but now we know that it's going to be what the tiers of it are, and it seems to be one of those ones that's going to be more useful in Outbreak than in the round-based maps, because the tier 5 ability is the ability to see like loot on the ground and like loot crates and stuff like that, which they do exist in the round-based maps, but not like great. You'll be able to see frag grenades through walls and stuff. That's useful if you need to pick up lots of frag grenades. Better if you do a lot of picking up of like C4 or monkeys. I suppose that's useful. The thing I'm wondering if it does is with the Mauer Toten like bunny Easter egg, you get the 3 doors at the end, which has a random crate behind them. I'm wondering if that will allow you to see through the door and work out which crate is behind which door, allowing you to like always pick the good reward. Although I've done it a few times and I still haven't gotten the calling card for getting the ultimate prize from it, which I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's just a Cerberus, but I haven't managed to get it yet. To be fair, I think I've only got the golden chest like once or twice, but who knows? Not enough. Another news. Not much is happening at the moment. There it is. Suppose, well, I haven't really been doing much else recently, really. I haven't really watched much TV in a while. don't really watch TV anymore. I think the last thing I watched properly was the Grand Tour with Lockdown, their new special, and before that would have been Clarkson's Farm. Only things I really watch on TV these days. Like, I do need to catch up on Doctor Who. I've been watching it since the re-release? No, the start of the modern era. But with the Jodie Whittaker one, I watched the first season of her, and then I got through to I think I started the Tesla episode, and I just kind of stopped because I had to go do something, and I just never really got back into it, so it just kind of bounced off of it clearly.
I got signal lock on. We're back.
Which, you know, you'd think of somebody who's been watching it for a good decade, I'd be fine with change. I'd be able to deal with it, but it just doesn't really. I don't think it's Jodie. It's not Jodie. It's just the writing behind her. It's just not good. Yeah. Suppose I could try and rewatch Star Trek Discovery again. I did start that and then bounced off of that as well. One of those things that the show, yeah, Star Trek, good, modern Star Trek, even better, and then it goes, it's not amazing. It's just like, hey, tardigrades, did you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know about tardigrades. So, the thing people think are invincible space-dwelling creatures. No, they're just extremophiles that can survive in near enough any environment. Oh well. They've been overhyped in the last few years in media and stuff because they keep popping up in scientific articles and people keep picking up on them because they keep doing amazing things that aren't really all that amazing. But what are you gonna do? That is. Finally got armor. Gonna say, I still miss Black Ops 1 and World at War Zombies. I should probably go record some of that as well at some point. Maybe I even do campaign playthroughs, I suppose. Although, yeah, the problem is I'd want to do it on like veteran, and they're just hard. Like, I started a veteran playthrough of Black Ops 1, and I was playing realism on Infinite Warfare, and I reached one of the missions and kind of just got a bit stuck. It's just a bad checkpoint. I'm spawning with like no ammo, so I need to reload, and there's just too many robots. So when I spawn in, I just kind of get swarmed by them and then killed because you take ridiculous amounts of damage on realism. Which isn't a bad thing. Challenge is good, but it's just when you get a bad checkpoint, you're kind of done in. Can you stop following me? Thank you. There's one. Really don't want to die to the first megaton. I've been trying to do the survive in the starting room to round 20 challenge, and I get to like round 15-ish. Yeah, 14, 15, something like that, and the megaton spawns in, and then it just kills me because my damage output's so low. Need to get into the habit of using... Maybe Ring of Fire is not the right one, maybe I should go for Aether Shroud or something, use that. Because I can kill them, it just takes time. Because even the Howler, which I think has the highest damage output per shot of any weapon, I think. Maybe one of the snipers is more, I'm not 100%. But it's just the fact that even that, it's... Once you go past round 10, because it's still the base variant of it, the damage just really starts to drop off. Oh well. Make it work somehow. I still need to do that round 100 calling card as well. That's something. They're just, which I know is doable due to the zombie health cap, but just gotta run the box, get like a ray gun, stuff like that, just to pull it off. Feels like nothing else does any decent damage. But as long as the ammo for that is so ridiculous. I think might be worth just running a Hauer. I mean, I have hit round 57 with nothing but a Hauer before. Or an Orion, or pump action, whatever you want to call it. It is a pretty good gun. Said probably, although it was better when it had the barrel that did 222% extra damage on it. I really wish they hadn't nerfed that. I get why they did. That was a ridiculous number, but I wish it stayed in the game. Something people have been saying for a long time. With COD, instead of don't nerf all the guns, just don't. It's zombies. Nobody really cares if something's slightly overpowered. If something is slightly more powerful than everything else, just buff everything else to bring it up to that standard instead of bringing everything else down. You're meant to feel powerful. It's an arcade mode. But I get it. It's their game. They want people to play it the way they intended, which is fair enough. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah. Oh, what was it? Sometimes it is hard to fill in blank air. I don't want a load of just empty spots with no speaking in it. That would be a boring video. Like, I have nothing against walkthroughs and long plays with no commentary in them, but I just find, because sometimes I'm in the mood for that, but the problem is you have to pay attention to them all the time because there's no one saying what's going on, so you kind of have to watch them to know what's going on. That's the only downside. Like, I really like, yeah, I use that word a lot, like, do notice that sometimes. I really I do like to watch 100% playthroughs of games. The problem is that you can find loads of them, but all of them have no commentary, and that's kind of annoying. Because, you know, you can't really, because I kind of want to listen to someone's thoughts and what they think as they're doing it, you know, so I know, you know, which parts of the game maybe frustrate them or something. Oh, that's the other, yeah, I really do need to, I was thinking, that's the other thing I need to do, because I bought the Skyward Sword HD. I should probably do a Let's Play of that. Because I have never played Skyward Sword. In fact, the only Zelda games I've ever played are Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it's just those three. Because I didn't own a 3DS, so I never bought the remasters. Oh, and Link's Awakening. I bought the Link's Awakening like HD remaster as well. That's the other one. But I've never, because I never owned a GameCube or a Nintendo console before Wii, I didn't really play Nintendo games. Well, I say that, I think I got a DS, which I think came out before the Wii? I don't quite remember. They're around the same time period. But yeah, so because of that, obviously my first Zelda games were on that DS. Because I never owned a GameCube or an N64 or anything like that, I never played Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker or... It's surprising that I've never played Twilight Princess, despite the fact that is by far my favourite Zelda game. I've watched people, I know the stories of them because I've seen them played. Obviously, I've watched Let's Plays of them on YouTube. God, one of my favourite YouTubers I've been watching for a few years now. Quite a few years actually, now that I think about it. He started his channel on Dark Souls and Demon Souls and the Souls series, those games. But he then played Breath of the Wild. He bought a Switch and played Breath of the Wild when it came out, and it opened the floodgates. and he does a Patreon vote for one of the games he plays. So he asked people what they wanted him to do, and after playing Breath of the Wild, all he got was like every single Zelda game. I think at this point he's played all of the 3D Zelda games. Because people keep voting for them. There might, so he's got some 2D ones that he could do, I suppose, but something tells me it's going to take a while to get to those. That and playing, it's the one annoying thing about Nintendo is that if you want to go back and play some of the older titles, it can be nigh impossible sometimes. Just due to how the ecosystem works. Like, yeah, there's been a re-release of Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, but they were 3DS remakes. If you didn't own a 3DS, you can't play them. They're only handheld. Like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess got remastered on the Wii U. Great! Except nobody bought a Wii U because the marketing for the Wii U was horrendously bad. And small issues like that just make it slightly more awkward to replay them. And you know, when the Mario 30th anniversary game came out with what is it? 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy in it. People were thinking they were going to release like a Zelda collection this year with people thinking like Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and maybe people were definitely sure on those two because they're probably the easiest ones to port over to a Switch because they were rebuilt recently. People also thinking maybe Majora's Mask. You think you should have to do Ocarina. If you're doing Ocarina, you might as well do Majora's Mask. People thinking it was going to be like Ocarina, Majora's Mask, Twilight, Wind Waker, and like people were wondering about Skyward Sword as well. And obviously the rumours came true with Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword did actually get a re-release. It popped up, and they've said Nintendo said there are no plans to release any more Zelda games for the 35th anniversary. And the rumours going around are that maybe that's because they've said that they've said that Breath of the Wild 2 might release next year, and people are wondering if they're holding back on re-releases of some of the HD games on the Switch in case that Breath of the Wild 2 gets delayed. Because if it gets delayed, then they're going to have a gap, so that people are thinking maybe they've actually got them finished. They're just wondering if they should release them next year to fill the gap if Breath of the Wild gets delayed, Breath of the Wild 2 gets delayed, or something like that. People are saying, but then again, there's also been rumours saying that a Modern Warfare 2 remaster has been. Like a complete Modern Warfare 2 remaster has been in Activision's back pocket for a few years. They're just waiting on time to release it. But all we got for a remaster was a campaign remaster. To be fair, I don't think they could ever do the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer justice if they really re-released it, because it's just the fact you have to rebalance it now. The thing that made Modern Warfare 2 special was how broken and lopsided the multiplayer was. Like, grenade launchers were incredibly overpowered to the point they could one-hit from you get random noob tubes from across the map, which would one-hit you. You had one-man army, which made noob tubing an utter joke because you just could have infinite of them. And then of course Sleight of Hand Pro, which really was a godsend to the quickscopers in the community. Search and destroy matches were always fun to watch, because you always end up with two quickscopers at the end, just trying to trick shot each other. And one of them would get there after about 30 seconds of trying. So it was always great when you died and you're waiting for the round to end, because I loved Final Kill Cam. But you don't really know what's going on, I suppose. But if they, as I was saying, if they ever release the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, people would be annoyed no matter what happened. You'd either get people who were annoyed that the multiplayer was broken because they kept it the same way it was in the original release, or you'd get people annoyed that it wasn't broken because they fixed it, and you get all the newer players complaining that it's broken. You either get new players complaining it's broken, or veteran players complaining that it isn't broken. Now, saying that, the veteran community is a lot smaller these days. Like, there really aren't as many older COD players anymore. A lot of us have moved on. A lot of us have moved on over the years. But I mean, if a Modern Warfare 2 actual remaster came out, I guarantee you'd bring back a load of the old players, just trying to relive the glory days. Like, yes, Call of Duty has been going. It breaks records, like sales records, nearly every year, and you have more players than ever before. But the golden years, ask anyone who was around, and the golden years were 2007 to 2012. COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2. 2013 was the year Ghosts came out. Now, Ghosts were like, yeah, it was like the multiplayer was horrendous, and not many people enjoyed Extinction. The campaign, I think, was interesting. I did like the campaign. It was like near future, not far future, so it was kind of interesting. But like, you had Modern Warfare, COD 4, Modern Warfare, which revolutionised the way multiplayer games are played, and has created a formula that's been followed ever since. You had World at War, which rounded back to World War II, and had a had a great campaign. It was a gritty story. And then you had Zombies, this bonus that just appeared at the end. And World at War did help with the formula that it did help improve the multiplayer formula that COD 4 introduced. So that was well, but Zombies was revolutionary, and it nearly never happened, but it's become one of the most beloved parts of the game for many people, which I think says a lot to its strengths and how good it is and how timely it was. Oh, that nearly downed me. There we go. And beyond that, we had Modern Warfare 2, which took the multiplayer formula that COD 4 introduced and had a few additions that was slightly refined by World at War, and it turned everything up to 11. It was the perfect COD multiplayer, if you ask me. I will forever look back at those days with nothing but joy. And this was around the time I got into Call of Duty. It was Modern Warfare 2, bit before Black Ops 1. So, you know, I was still in the Zombies lifespan of World at War, so I first played Zombies on World at War, which was terrifying to me when back then. Being a little kid and everything, it kind of just is. I need to upgrade this weapon again. But beyond that, we had a Modern Warfare 2, which was the perfect multiplayer to be introduced to, although not everybody survived it. It was a bit of a boot camp. It was definitely a trial by fire to start playing that one, but a lot of people started playing through Modern Warfare 2. That's why noob tubing was such a big problem. It's because you had a lot of new players, and it was the skill ceiling was actually... It was the first time the skill ceiling in COD was decent for like quick scoping and stuff like that. So you had loads of more people playing. There were legends around that time. Like, obviously there's one name that may be familiar to some of the older COD players. Up there is Sandy Ravage, or S Ravage, or the guy who was a king at just getting nukes. But yeah, and then of course this was around the time that you had Optic and FaZe rise up as clans for the first time, because they didn't. That was the era they really popped up. So it was the golden age of Call of Duty, and now of course they're huge esports team. But beyond that, you then moved into Black Ops 1, which had, although the multiplayer wasn't as hectic and broken as Modern Warfare 2 was, it was an insanely fun multiplayer to play. I loved the idea of having to earn money to unlock stuff after you got to the right level. The idea of wager matches, the party games playlists, you know, gun game, one in the chamber, sticks and stones. That was the introduction, and they've been a staple that people have been after ever since. And it definitely says a lot. I mean, of course, the funny thing is, back then COD points weren't purchasable with real money. You could only earn them in games through either wager matches or leveling up or doing challenges. But yeah, and then of course zombies. We had Kino de Toten, the first zombies map outside of World at War, and it was an instant classic. It is the one that had the most. I think it's still one of the most played maps, or at least it was for an incredibly long time. Like, people would replay that over and over and over again because it wasn't as broken. Because zombies was, the zombies in World at War is an interesting thing to look back on because it is kind of janky, just due to the fact the engine was never designed for it. It was just an addition they decided to add. A very small team was deciding to add, I should add. But Black Ops 1 had, the engine was just a lot more smoother for zombies, and it just, the maps were just so good. To this day, my favourite map is somewhere between Doris and Ascension. And then of course, when Black Ops 1, we had the re-release of all the zombies maps on Black Ops 1, so you could replay all of them with the Black Ops 1 weapons, which I enjoy. But I wish we'd have the ability to choose between like the World at War or the Black Ops 1 weaponry. That is the one edition I had. I wish that was there for every re-release of those maps. They let you, so you could play them with the original World at War weapons with their like damage values instead of the. Obviously the damage values have to be changed and updated and models, I suppose. But I'd love to have played those. You can do that at Black Ops 3, I suppose, but yeah, anyway, where was I? Yeah, and then after Black Ops 1, which an amazing campaign as well, we had Modern Warfare 3, which I think was the first indication we were starting to go downhill. Because I remember playing Modern Warfare 3 quite a lot at the time and having fun with my friends. But I can tell you, but that's all I remember. I could not tell you a single detail about that game. Like, I remember all the Modern Warfare 2 ones, but the Modern Warfare 3 ones are just a bit of a blur, really. It's a bit of a blank spot. It's just one of those things, I suppose. It was just kind of generic, I guess, for the time. It just felt like they were. It didn't really improve on the Modern Warfare 2 formula at all. Like the weapon proficiency system was a good idea. I do grant it that, and survival was interesting. They added in the wave-based mode into Spec Ops, but so it was trying to do its own zombies thing. It didn't really work. But on top of that, I suppose you could also go down the route of looking into where was it? Oh, yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, you can look into it, but it just wasn't that great as a multiplayer. It felt like it was a reaction to the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. The Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer was, as I've said before, quite broken. And my assumption is that the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer was played really safe with weapon balancing and stuff like that, as far as from what I remember. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but it just felt like a safe sort of middle of the road multiplayer wise compared to the insanity that came like 2 years before it, and even Black Ops 1 for that matter. Black Ops 1 had, as I said before, had a great multiplayer too. So, who knows, but that's just how it was. And then after, and I think that was, and to me that was the first, it was kind of an indication there. I think that the Golden Age was ending. I don't know, I don't think I noticed it at the time, I don't think a lot of other people did, but I think it was, looking back, it was definitely an indicator that something was changing. And then of course, after that, we had Black Ops 2, which I played the hell out of in multiplayer. The campaign was great. The campaign was interesting. It's not my favourite COD campaign by a long shot, but it definitely was an interesting one nonetheless. Like the different mission types and the ability to change your loadout as you went into missions. That was really good. I have enough to pack a punch another weapon, but yeah. But the multiplayer was solid. It had amazing weapons. The maps were insane. To this day, I remember running around with a PDW or an MP7. And then of course we had our first ever DLC weapon, the Peacekeeper, which was a good submachine gun. Trend soon to be followed after that, adding weapons after launch. Where's it gone? There it is. Beyond that, kind of just, and then we got and then Ghosts came, and then yeah, Ghosts came out. Black Ops 2 Zombies as well. Just thinking about it, was good. I have many memories playing Transit. I think one of my fondest was, it was round like 30. I was in the bus with a B34R, which I think is the pack. Yeah, no, it was the Pack-a-Punch of the B23R. Let me get it right. I think it was the 34, maybe it was the 45. I don't remember. So yeah, the Pack-a-Punch B23R, and I was just in the bus on like round 30, surviving somehow. Just buying ammo off the wall when I needed it, and there you are. I knew something was biting at my ankle. But yeah, and I enjoyed Buried. Buried was a good map. Mob of the Dead was amazing. I do love Mob of the Dead. And it was good. It was great. And then Origins as well, like the ending of it all. Nuketown was fun as well. It was like a simple map. It was great to just jump on and play, but it did kind of get boring after a while because the map was so small. But yeah, so it was definitely interesting. Definitely. I should probably go buy armor. Beyond that, what else did we end up with? We ended up with Mob of the Dead, Origins, Buried. There was one more map. I cannot remember what it was. Oh, Die Rise. Yeah, how could I forget that one? Whew, that was an interesting map. Still one of my the Sliquifier is, in my opinion, one of the better Wonder weapons. I thought it's one of the ones capable of wiping out an entire round with a single shot, which I don't think has happened since possibly. Ooh, maybe the Wonder Waff could, until you hit a certain round. But it was it was just an interesting weapon. I really did enjoy the weapon, and I wish it would come back. I wish it would come back at some point. That's one thing I wish they do. Is if they can, maybe do like at the end of the DLC cycle for maybe Cold War or something. Just go right. No, the DLC season's over. We're moving on to which, to be fair, may not happen for another year because there's rumours there may be a second year of content. Yeah, after they finish support, just go right. Here's a DLC with all of the Wonder weapons from every map. Have fun, and just put them in the box on maybe put them in the box on all the maps or something, and then just or the ability to chain, or ability to tell the game which wonder weapons. Maybe you're only allowed a couple of, maybe two or three wonder weapons a map, just to make sure there's, you know, not too many of them in the box and it doesn't become a slog to get through it all. And maybe you go, okay, I want to turn this one on, I want to turn that one on, stuff like that. That could be interesting. Give the ability to just mess around. God, thruster 9. So, remembering the wonder weapon from Transit. Terrible, terrible gun. But it would be fun to see all those come back, one way or another.
Max is here. We are ready for exit.
I want you. I have two of them and one of them. I'm not gonna make it through that door frame, am I? Oh, I am. How about that?
Monkey bomb is on.
Die.
That's a good monkey. Go get them, monkey.
Yeah, no, I think that would be fun. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if anyone else would like to see that. But come on. There we go. It's interesting to see how it goes, I guess. Huh. 40 minutes. That's actually about my normal playtime for a 30-round game. But yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to see all the wonder weapons come back. And Golden Age, I miss it. At least I got to live through it. That's all I can say. Anyway, the game is over. I rambled on for nearly 45 minutes at this point. So I guess I'll see you in the next one. And if I see you on the internet anywhere, hello!